Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I'm talking about the secrets that many families don't want you to know. The secrets that many families don't want you to know. And today my focus is on sexual abuse. There are things that have been in families for centuries, not just decades, but centuries. And for the African American community, we can go all the way back to slavery, where African Americans were told that they were to do whatever it was that the master wanted them to do. Okay? And so when you look back on ancestry, especially on those slave plantations, you'll find that there were men in the families that were reproducing with their own mothers, daughters, sisters, and whoever else. And it's interesting how that adulterous type, incestuous type of attitude continues to play out in some families many years later. Also, we know from history that rapes took place. And when these rapes took place, how were these women or even men able to continue to function? Well, they learned to dissociate. So now you got mental illness that is in families. Being able to change your personality to survive. Okay? Psychologists will also call this sort of thing splitting. So you have this history of just abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, because you know that in order for adults to listen to their masters, the slave went through much, and the slave master had to tame these slaves just like he did animals. So if one wanted to fight up against what the master wanted, then he or she was beaten, tortured, made to watch, others be abused. All sorts of things took place on these slave plantations. Remember, these were men and women who were treated like cattle. So there was no conscience with some of these masters. I do recall, though, that a relative told me that her grandfather, which would have been my great-grandfather, said that his master was nice. Okay, so this isn't that far away, in years, even in my own family. A great-grandfather saying that the slave master was nice. Well, what did he mean by that? That he didn't do all that beating, and he most likely wasn't doing some horrific things to his property. Okay, so the man was able to function. He was able to do his duties. But the story is that grandfather or great-grandfather, in my case, was used to impregnate many of the women. And his sexual appetite, once growing up and getting away from that atmosphere, did not die down. They say that he had many women, and not only that, he pimped out many folks. And he was no respecter of titles, okay, to put it nicely. So family history, there's a lot of ugliness that takes place. And if we don't connect the dots, then what happens is you end up either doing some things that you don't quite understand why you do them. You find out why, or you end up not finding out why some of your family members did what they did. And then, of course, there are those who are forever lost because they don't quite understand. Why was it that mama or great mama or whoever was treating us in the way that she did? Well, you got to look at who she was exposed to. And then her abuser or abusers, well, who were they exposed to? You see? So there are many family secrets that remain secrets because people enable, people support, people don't want to do anything more than what they do. And that is, that's not my business. You don't need to be talking about that. That has nothing to do with me. Okay, so we got sickness running around in the family. Nobody's getting any type of therapy. Nobody acknowledges the fact that something's not quite right with mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles and grandparents and so forth. Well, as long as they're not doing anything to me. Oh, okay. So it's okay then for them to abuse other people, emotionally manipulate, physically abuse. Well, I turned out all right. I've heard that so many times. No, you didn't. Some of these women, they attract controlling, abusive men. No, you didn't turn out all right because now your husband or your, brothers or, your uncles or what have you are, using power and control over you. So no, you didn't turn out all right. Or you end up, not being very understanding or kind or wanting to get anything resolved with those who are victims of abuse. You know how to dissociate. You know how to split. You know how to look away. You know how to convince yourself that what you heard or what you saw isn't really what you heard or what you saw. And even though some of these people claim that God is with them, well, I'm going to say I can't tell. Because if God is really with you, then you do know that he is of light and he exposes and he brings light to dark situations and dark issues. Okay, as well as dark secrets. What are some of these things, though, that I personally witnessed in terms of teachings? Okay, some dysfunctional teachings. Well, one thing I remember was that children are not that important. And I even heard some adults say things like, children, they were, they're meant to be seen, but they're not, meant to be heard. Okay. And that's unfortunate, but this is the kind of thing that people will say and people will do even now. So if a child is only meant to be seen, if something negative, something mean, something crazy, or whatever else you want to call it happens to the child, she or he is not supposed to say anything, because remember, the rule is that no, you just sit over there and you be quiet and don't say too much of anything. Only time the adults really wanted to know what children had on their minds is if it had something to do with them. If it was something that was going to put their business out in the street, If it was something that was going to affect the household, oh, you better not. There's consequences. Oh, I'm busy working. I got too much stuff to do to be listening to you and what's going on. All I know is that you better make sure that them grades are good, or otherwise A, B, and C is going to happen. Right? They're not asking you too much of anything. And then you, as a child, you're not supposed to be asking too many questions either. That's not your business. And then if there are people on the outside looking in, they're going to be quick to check those folks. What are you in my business for? Why are you asking me these questions? What did she tell you? What did he tell you? And you best believe that somebody is going to pay a price for running their mouth. But it was abusive. The situation was abusive. There was some emotional abuse. There was some physical abuse. And I know some relatives that went through some sexual abuse. And be quiet. And then some of these folks never healed. And so they mimic what they grew up with. There's a little dark spirit within them that will go ahead and do the same nasty, ugly stuff that was done to them. And then they will use the same manipulative tactics on children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And then when somebody sounds the alarm and says so-and-so is a pedophile or so-and-so is a molester, what have you, then guess what folks say? You know what they say. Oh, no, something wrong with her. You know, please. Well, something's wrong with him. Why would he even say that? Okay? Family secrets. Oh, no, we don't talk about that kind of, stuff in our household. Oh, so you don't talk about physical, emotional, sexual abuse? I mean, why? Ain't nobody come to me with anything. What, you know something? Oh, come on. And that play dumb stuff gets on my nerves. Playing dumb about everything. You're not supposed to say this. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to tell this. And God says, oh, I'm coming where you are. Some of these people, they're going to suffer. Oh, they thought they suffered in their youth. They're really going to suffer because they perpetuate emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. So they're going to reap. Oh, things might be looking good right now, but until they confess sin and repent for all of their not listening, not wanting to do, coming up with excuses. Don't you say this? Don't you say that? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, woo, there's some suffering going on for some of these people. And some of us, those people are dead, but we already know toward the last, years of their life, it wasn't easy at all. Some folks even wish that they died. They were so messed up mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then let me tell you something that brings back memories. Why were folks always encouraging, especially the girls, go on over there and kiss so-and-so. Go on over there and give your uncle a hug. Why would they do this sort of thing? I don't feel comfortable hugging a grown man as a child. I don't feel comfortable kissing somebody on their cheek, or even them even trying to put their lips on your face. And then, then the mother or the aunt or somebody say, now don't be doing that. And then the boys that were told, give your auntie a hug, or, some friend of the family. We didn't want to do that. And now guess what? You know the end result of that sort of thing? You're not very affectionate when that sort of stuff takes place. When you are told repeatedly to do something that you really don't want to do, you're not that affectionate yourself. Some of you all know what I'm talking about. Why are you in my face? Why are you giving me a hug? You just give me a hug, right? Something on the inside rises up, and you even have to check yourself like, nobody's trying to, abuse you. Nobody's trying to hurt you. Good God. You see how it affects you later in life? And then some folks got divorced because of what? Didn't be there emotionally, didn't be there physically for their partners. Why? Because of all those hugs and all those kisses and all that stuff you went through growing up. No wonder you couldn't be much of a partner. You were always made to do something. Come on. That's disrespectful to a child. But you know what? Hey, children seen and not heard, right? They don't care. Oh, so I'm supposed to make an adult happy. I'm supposed to be the one to come around. I'm supposed to be the one to do a dance, right? How many of you all out there? Oh, dance for so-and-so. Right? At these family functions, you were just a little child. Dance. Come on, perform for the adults. Help the adults. Do for the adults. These adults were some dysfunctional, weak, mentally unhealthy folks, weren't they? Always needed children to meet their needs, even down to taking their money. Another adult gives them money. Now they're saying, oh, let me take that money. Let me put this up for you. Then you go and you ask for your money and they can't seem to find it. Or they'll come up with a reason. Oh, well, I used the money remember when you needed? What? So then, of course, you don't trust a relative with your money or a guardian because they steal. But hey, I brought this child in the world. Hey, I take care of everything concerning the child. It's all right for me to go in there and take their money. Oh, really? And who taught you that? Your thieving father, your thieving mother, your thieving guardians? Oh, because that's what it is. It's theft. somebody else's money, even if the child is only 2 and you take it, that's theft. Come on. I'm telling you, God, he exposes so much. A lot of these audios and videos, this is exposing. This isn't keeping stuff secret. It's okay. See, we're grown. We're grown. That's the beauty. That's the benefit. When you don't live with folks, when you are not relying on folks, when you can speak truth. Jesus. You're not supposed to talk about what Uncle so-and-so did. Well, Uncle so-and-so was a pedophile. Uncle so-and-so was physically abusive to every woman he was with. He was lying. He was stealing. Why are you even dealing with Uncle so-and-so? Because they say that in the Black community, that it's not so much the fathers that abuse the children, even though there are those out there, but it's those uncles. Those play uncles as well as the real ones. And those mama's boyfriends. I'm going to throw that one in there. And I don't have no statistics to back that up. But what I will tell you is I heard enough stories. Okay? And a lot of this stuff happens in those low income environments. I mean, yes, you got some of the wealthy folks that's doing a lot of nasty, immoral, wicked things. But a lot of this stuff happens in low income areas because folks is trying to make money with children. Folks is trying to make more money for themselves. So they're working long hours. So they're dropping children off and folks don't know what's going on. Siblings being sexual with each other, incestuous relationships. And that affects relationships later on. Oh, I'm not going to tell all of what took place. You know, I'm not going to go to the therapist and even share it. Okay, so why is it? Come on, somebody need to ask some questions. Why is it that so-and-so keep getting married? Or he can't seem to keep a woman? Nobody wants to ask those questions, huh? They want to blame everybody on the women. He just don't know how to pick them. No, he was abused. You need to recognize the signs. He was abused. She can't seem to do well in her relationships because, come on, she was abused. And sometimes folks never heal from these things. You better know what's going on, some of you all, and connect the dots. So that's why so-and-so acts like that. She just never said anything to us, but we suspected that, and you can fill in a blank. Oh, that's why he tends to act the way he acts. And, you know, some folks that know him say he's weird. Come on. Pay attention to how people describe folks. Weird, strange, bizarre, acts like a child. Isn't sexually mature, doesn't do it for me. Something's wrong with him. Come on. Pay attention to how people are describing these folks in your family that are no longer with some of these people. Something's wrong. And a lot of it deals with abuse, psychological abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual abuse. Folks, he don't like going to the church anymore. She don't. Every time you talk to her about Christianity or anything dealing with God, she freaks out. And she used to be very active in the church. Yeah, and the question you should ask, wonder what happened. That's a starting place. And she don't feel comfortable talking to anybody because she was raised, come on, she was raised not to tell business. Keep your business to yourself. Your mama can't handle it. Your daddy, he don't care. You keep that mess to yourself. Physical abuse. I've told you all about my experience with that at the young age of 21 with a man 10 years older. Okay? There are those out there that get on YouTube and they talk about what they went through, both male and female. And some of them will also share how they got over some things. Others, you can tell from their videos, they're still in it, or they're still suffering from it, or they got somebody around them that's continuing to enable some things. Those videos, I don't suggest that you even give those people the time of day, because they're still going through their healing. But those who have survived, those that are out here that are not, functioning in the abuse any longer, they are not enabling, they are not promoting dysfunctional behavior, right? They are not brushing things under the rug. Oh, well, kids are just kids. Oh, incestuous abuse is real. And no, it's not just kids being kids. A lot of folks are old enough to know what exactly they're doing. It don't matter whether it was by, mouth or, anal or vaginal or anything. The point is that it was abuse, and we acknowledge it as such. And we validate people when they talk to us about what they've gone through. And I'm telling you that for some people, that's where your healing is. You talk about everything else to God, but you don't talk about what took place back in the day with you. You talk to God about everybody else, but you don't talk about all of the mess that you went through 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years ago. And that's why you act, as some might say, for some of you all, not all, because you might be witnesses to these sorts of folks. But some might say, she's so funny acting. I don't know why she act like that. Ooh, what's up with him? Because it's tied to the trauma. It's tied to the abuse. And I have an audio about trauma in adults as well as children. Recognize the signs. And then once you see some things, then you can make, a decision whether or not you want to keep that person close to you. Because some folks, they will bring you down. And next thing you know, you fall into all of the stuff that they're into. There's plenty of pedophiles that, recruit pedophiles. There's plenty of folks that have gone through a lot of abuse, and so therefore they recruit other abusers. There are some who abuse mothers, right, in front of children or behind closed doors, but you knew what was going on. And so they are the type that don't mind encouraging their sons to be that way, as well as grandsons. And these folks who never got any help, never said that they apologized, never did anything to show that they are in fact healed. Why in the world would you want your children to be around people like this? And it doesn't mean, that's just between, him and mama. No, but the behavior, the attitudes, the children and grandchildren can pay attention and see he's controlling and she is a victim. Or she got some messed up stuff going on with her. That's why she pops off as quick as she does. That's why she is very impatient. That's why she's very sensitive. She got some stuff going on with her. And when you sit down and have these conversations with some people about their dramas, their issues and so forth, you know what they do, especially in the Black community. That didn't happen to me. In denial. Here we go. Disassociating, splitting again. Oh no, my mom, she was so beautiful and so sweet to me. No, I never had an issue. Not at all. And then you look at them with their children and you see, oh my goodness, that person's so messed up. Look at how she's yelling and acting crazy and falling out about her own kids. What happened to her? You know what you just did? I didn't. I'm just raising my children. I'm just parenting my children. Really? Doing all of what you just did, that's parenting. So I had to open up a can of worms with some folks because they're delusional. And you claim to be about God's business, but you got to wake up, some of you all. And some of you all, you're already awakened. Praise God. You see the writing on the wall and you've been working hard to stay away from dysfunction, and you are changing your behavior because you know that what you grew up is not right. You don't defend it. You don't sugarcoat it. You ain't lying about it. You're not saying people is sweet and nice when they're really hard and mean. And God, He does bless you. He does bless you when you speak truth, even if some folks don't like it, even if some folks want to come up with all sorts of reasons as to why you should never. Well, I'm here to bring some healing. And the first point of healing is admit the fact that you were victimized years ago. And that victimization continues on, even in some of the relationships that you have with others. And deal with the issues that are taking place, not just with yourself, but with your children as well. You're praying about those issues. You are talking to counselors about those issues. You recognize that maybe you made a mistake in a partner that you chose. And some folks will say, oh, no, it's not the partner. It's really me. Well, then good. Now you can really work towards some healing. And others, the partner is telling you that you're the problem when you're not the problem. So you got to recognize that too. Because, abusive people, whether mental, whether physical, emotional, spiritual, they're always good at pointing the fingers. They're always saying that, well, somebody else is the reason why this, that, and the other happened. So you blame a 5-year-old for not telling you something. Meanwhile, you didn't make yourself available. Controlling mama, controlling father, controlling, uncle, aunt. So why would they come and talk to you? What was the mantra? Children are seen, right? But not heard. So if you make it difficult for a child not to come to you and talk to you, they will continue to suffer in silence. So there you have it. Another eye-opening message. My heart goes out to those individuals who have gone through much. I know we're supposed to guard our heart, so Lord Jesus, guard my heart. But you know who you are. And today you have been validated for all of the mess you have gone through. And I'm praying in Jesus' name that he will turn every situation around. It's understandable why you don't want to be around family members and family friends. And even though some of this stuff may have happened 10, 15, 20 plus years ago, until God can deliver you from some things, no, it is not wise to be around some folks. It is not wise to have to defend yourself. It's not wise to listen to their lies and their exaggerations about how good someone is or was when we know better. I thank God. I thank God for truth. I thank God for the light. And I thank God for the courage as well as the motivation to speak real truth. Thank you so much as always for taking time out to listen. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. If you haven't given, we do welcome donations to continue to market and spread the information to all sorts of folks, as well as the necessary equipment in order to keep projects going. Thank you.